Hello guys, glad to have you on board again today. As an introduction, I'll have to tell you that probably tomorrow there might be no video. I'm not quite sure I'll be able to handle this or not, so no promises about that. If you see no updates tomorrow, just consider that normal, and might be the same case next week, as I have my baby boy at home without the nanny. So I'll take some kind of a week off to spend some time with my son, and that means that the time I have to spare for trading and making analysis, answering the emails or questions you might send me all over Discord, Twitter, email, things like that, that will be extended delays into getting answers. Because of this, I have far less time to spare for trading and the entire pro indicator thing between today and next week and next week's end. So consider that for approximately 10 days, extended delays to get answers from your questions. So remember to get into Discord to ask other users if you have any questions. You'll get faster answers out there. Otherwise, you have to be aware of extended delays handling those things. I'll try handling the updates, the daily updates next week, but that would be depending on the willingness of my baby boy to get some rest during the day, and that's not that's a big of a deal. So we'll see how it goes. If it gives me enough time to trade myself and make you the daily forecast, I'll keep on doing those, but well, just don't consider those granted. They might be days next week in which I probably won't be able to handle this. So anyway, that being said, we're jumping into usual analysis. We have a look at the economic calendar first. Not the big of a deal today, but we have the GBP at it's 8.5. Yeah, it's right before US Open today, so that might be the only interesting catalyst of that week. So if it's filling the consensus, then not a big of a deal to expect. Probably some short-term volatility around the dollar, but that's it. Worst case scenario, if the actual number misses the consensus, or if we get downward revision of the previous number, if we've got anything red today regarding the GBP, I mean, that could be a catalyst to push the equities downward, more downside on the equities if that was to come, because early that year, when we've got the first drop, the market was looking for inflation, and anytime we've got some bad news regarding inflation, the market just collapsed. And I think right now the market is looking at GDP and stocks earnings. And we're going to get into the earnings season pretty soon. And if earnings are some point disappointing, or the GDP is, as the entire U.S. economy growth, the economy's health is related to potential growth. If we've got anything disappointing in that sector, I think this is what could flush out all the gains Wall Street's been making recently in just a few days. Okay, could be heavy problems down there. All the other worldwide equities have been falling apart. It's just Wall Street's holding on for some very dark reasons. So if we've got anything that can suggest Wall Street has to dampen the gains, we could very well do it in a very brutal way, even though right now it's not what I forecast. So we'll talk about that, but have a look at today's GDP. It's probably the only catalyst that can do something. Doesn't necessarily means that there will be something to trade out of this, but if something is probably going to, that might be this one today. And probably till the end of that week, and I said that since Monday. Today's the big day, and we have the biggest catalyst available during that week, and we'll see how this plays out. So regarding the dollar, and we'll talk. Damn it, motherfuckers! I'm gonna tell you why I just said that later on, but motherfuckers, they just stopped me right there. Jesus fucking Christ. So we'll see how it goes, but I think I just got stopped out for a stupid reason. Anyway, starting with the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin absolutely doing nothing. So I'll be quick today regarding the cryptocurrencies. Don't overthink things. We might be right into a range kind of trading, which means at some point, look at the momentum, it's contracting. We're making lower highs and we've got higher lows as well, which means we're building a triangle out of the momentum. We're going to have a burst. So look out for a squeezing pattern in here to come. So expect the price to narrow the movements, and at some point we're going to have a bullish or bearish reaction. If it's bearish, I'm invalidating. If it's bullish, I'm good. That's simple as that. I mean, don't FOMO trading. The best right here is to pick a side and stick to it. If you got the right one, just raise the stop loss, just reduce the stop size and let the market go and consider reinforcement afterwards. If the market is going against you, just give away your stop loss, and that's how the game works. I mean, right now it's basically 50-50, and if you pick the wrong side, just take the risks. I mean, you're taking a risk if you're trading right here. If the risk is showing to be in the wrong side of your trade, just get out, and that's how it goes. I mean, I've been choosing to buy. I might be right, I might be wrong. I don't give a shit. All I care about is that if I'm wrong, I'm going to take a small loss. If I'm right, I'm going to take a nice gain. So make sure that if you pick the right side, don't fucking take your benefits pretty soon. I mean, let that position go. We're going to have a nice swing. As I said, probably $2,500 potential, either to the upside or the downside, or both up and downside. So it really is, if you pick the right side, just don't take your profit after a $500 raise or drop. I mean, let it go. It's going to last for the moment. Okay? So that's the only key element in here. If we're having a look at Ethereum, not that big of a deal, but not that good as it either. We've found out the taking profit pattern, but really needs to stay above this one. It's not confirmed by momentum, and taking profit is not the best case scenario. Yes, it's the second in a row, but I really want to see the market retracing now, otherwise problems ahead. Same thing goes for IOTA, not that best, okay? Taking profit pattern triggered, but as you can see, prices are not breaking resistances, and I'd like to see this. Even worse, in here we're trying to build triangles, so we really need to extract that triangle by the upside, otherwise problems ahead in there as well. So we'll see how this plays out, and for now, I mean, I really have absolutely no idea what the outcome will be. So that means I'm very low leverage on those trades, very low confidence. I really need to see some price confirmations, and I don't really know if it's going to be my side or my opponent's side. Either way, I have no problem. If I have to take a loss, that will be a tiny loss, and if it comes to be a further gain, then good for me. But that's all it is. Okay. Don't be overconfident in here, which means if you're getting into leverage trading right now, you just absolutely don't get it. Trading is nothing like that. I mean, you put leverage when you've got confirmations, and the trade is on your expected side. Right now, we have anything. I have no clues about the actual side we could have, and we don't necessarily have interesting prices. Right now, as I said, it's just you have to pick a side and stick to it, and don't change your mind every single day to switch from bullish to bearish to bearish to bullish. This is absolutely worst case scenario. Pick a side, stick to it. I've been choosing to buy because we're still on a support that hasn't broken down for now. If this support is broken down, bearish trend, breaking support, normal thing, and I'll get to it. Okay, I mean, I'll let go my stop loss and see if I reverse bearish or not. But for now, it's too complicated to forecast. All I say is I'm staying bullish as long as I have no other things to believe. Now moving on to the other asset classes, and we're going to start with the US indexes right away. So the VIX is still to the upside, we're making higher lows, and I think the next target is to get right there when we started the first bearish manipulation on the VIX. So I think this is an absolutely necessary target to get reached out to. So 21 or approximately 20 to 21 is the next target I expect the price to go today. So waiting to see that happening with probably another bearish outcome for the US equities. So maybe they might be trying to retrace a bit today as we've got bullish sine wave versus bearish momentum. So consider this as a rangy structure. and probably having some kind of pullback, and I think we're going to go lower anyway. Regarding yesterday's close, I think the only pullback we could have will be to find sellers to push the price to lower values today. I have two supports to test. This one, 26.89 in the SPX, and this one that I really would like to see this one traded, which is 26.64. So we'll see how this goes, if we can get there or not, how long we spend there. I mean, if we just make a V bottom or if we have a lot of volume to execute in here. These are the only variables we'll have a look at today, let's say tonight, because I'll wait for the candle close to take conclusion out of this. And of course I'll take profits right here. I mean, this will be the end of a wave one, which means speculators wave. Only those who are speculating like me can take gains in here. Here it's just bulls are losing money in here. They'll figure it out when we break the support, and right here this is where everyone is going to reverse bearish, okay? And that will lead us to a big nice wave 3 if I'm right. And if I'm wrong, we're going to break new highs, and then the bulls take it over again. Okay, it's pure and simply this. Same thing goes for the entire equity market. I really don't know how the hell we're going to trade this. Hang Seng Index is now returning to bullish territory. Okay, bullish, sorry, to positive territory, nothing close to bullish. I mean, that thing is just literally falling apart. It's been bearish gap throughout a trend line, and the market kept on falling apart. So we truly have validated breakout in here, which means any pullback is going to be sold. And as long as we have no pullback, it's just a falling knife. So we'll see how deep it can go. I remain bearish on all the equity assets right now. It's just a matter of time, and we'll see how deep we can go. So today's US session is going to be interesting and absolutely entirely related to the GDP number. That can push us far down or just a little bit downward, and dollar is going to be the big catalyst. So fucking dollar, and we're going to talk about this one right now. So why am I being violent about this thing? Because I've been shorting yesterday right here, putting a fucking tiny stop loss up there just right at the top, and I got flushed out today, just literally at the top. And if that damn market was to retrace downward, as we made a bearish engulfing pattern right here, I mean, if for some reasons we're gonna go down right now, fuck that. I mean, I hate being stopped out by the market top when it's just something like that. I mean, the market has just made one tick on the upside just to fuck up the stop losses, mine included. And if it's going to reverse downward right now, oh Jesus, I'm so ashamed. Taking a loss when nice gain would have been done down the road for just a tick. This is a shame, but that's how it goes. I mean, I've been stopped out. That's how the market goes. I'm not going to short right now just because I've been stopped out. Okay, so remember what we said about psychology. You don't get into those things. I mean, I really don't like that. I think that's unfair, but that's how it goes. The market's not there to be fair, and that's the game. I've been putting the stop loss too tight. If that worth me a loss where I should take a nice gain, then that's bad for me, but that's how it is. Anyway, gold and GBP USD scenarios are not doing well in here either because of that damn fucking dollar that is trying to break up resistances. So at some point, if the dollar is finishing its damn movements, we should have bullish reversal on the gold as well as in the GBP USD. It's just because of that damn dollar that things are not doing well in those assets. So I strongly expect the dollar should terminate its shit, and we'll see if the GDP is going to be the market catalyst that is going to terminate the shit about the dollar. That's the only scenarios that are not working well to me right now. I mean, all the rest is great. Equities are doing great. Stocks, individual stocks are doing great. AUDNZD doing fucking great. Euro yen doing fucking great as well. So everything is doing just fine right now. The only fucking problem is that dollar that is blocking me with the US indexes to go far lower than that, GBP USD to trigger, and gold to trigger as well. So I'm waiting to have those two scenarios triggering. I've been taking a stop loss on GBP USD today as I had a stop below that low. Because remember that I've been buying right here. This was great trade, and I've been taking reinforcement right there, and this reinforcement had to be stopped out because it put too much risk into my scenarios. So I'm out with that reinforcement, still in with the previous entries, and we'll see. And I'll see how this goes if I for some reason find a bottom. But I think in here at some point we'll find the bottom. Remember, this basically reminds me of the dollar flushing pattern we've got last year. I mean, if you take the dollar index, but on a day basis, okay, on a weekly basis, what we had right here is really making me thinking about what's happening right now on the GBP USD. And now look at the you look at the dollar. We can even stop that shit. It's just like it's going to go up forever. And the reversal was pretty brutal. I strongly expect to have the exact same thing in here. I mean, we're going down, we're flushing, now we're finding oscillation once again. We're going to stop there and then reversing pretty brutally. Okay, so I still think that market is bullish. I have no questions about that. This is clearly a trend move, and we're going to have an exhaustion out of this. But the question is, where is the nice price to pay? I think we got strong support in here. I really don't see how the hell we're taking that long to figure out the support right here. And this is only because of that damn dollar. So we'll see how this is going. But I think at some point the dollar will have to stop doing shit. So patience right now, still speculative leverage on this. If stop loss had to be triggered for some reasons, then I'll just give them. That's how it goes when you speculate. You don't know about what will be the final outcome. And for now, it's not doing very great. But that's just one market responsible for it. It's just the dollar. And if this thing stops breaking resistances, we're going to have both GBP and gold scenarios triggering together. So it's patience right now on those, and just letting go on the other scenarios. So speculative scenarios right now remains Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general, gold and GBP USD. Validated scenario, Euro Yen, AUDNZD, stock markets, and stocks themselves. All of this is secure trades. Okay, I can't lose anything right now on the US equities. It's just either they fall apart or they retrace and take my stop losses. But I think this sector in particular, Tesla, Apple, Facebook, Nvidia, Netflix, I think all those are at pretty damn risk, which means I don't see that much of a retracement happening to them. They'll be searching for sales all day long as they are pretty high priced, and the market is starting to feel danger. Anyway, goodbye guys. Sorry, I'm going to take the questions. So just one question. Okay, during the 2007 to 2009 market collapse, gold fell from $1 to $1,000 to $700. If the SPX fall apart like you say it might, why not expect gold to collapse with it as before? Yes, but before it collapsed, the gold is going to. So let me just study the gold once again. So first of all, don't take things that you have seen in the past for granted, okay? And then just look at this. I mean, bullish breakout, bearish breakout. That just suggests we're in a big damn range. And in a range, what you do is buy at the low, sell at the high. And all I can see right now is that we're at the low. So I don't see why we shouldn't buy gold. Anyway, moving on to the weekly charts. Okay, so 2008, 2009, yeah, but that was just a pullback. I mean, before that, the gold just surged, okay, from 2007 to 2008. This is where the market sees the risk coming. It's buying gold to go into safer areas, and then it's taking profits, okay? It's just simple as that. It's been buying scenario, taking profits. So that was just a retracement. And as you can see, it saw the exit pattern. Sine wave tells you right here you should get out and take the gains you've been making in the gold. And that's how it goes. And then it says bullish again, so buy that shit. And that's how it goes. Okay? So don't necessarily consider this as a linked correlation and a static thing. I mean, correlations are things that are moving every time, and gold is not necessarily 100% correlated to stock indexes, and that doesn't mean that when stock indexes go down, the gold is going up. It's just the risk perception, okay? And generally, the gold is going to rise before a stressful moment. Or during a short-term stressed movement. This is why I still see the gold rising regarding the upcoming stress movement we could have on the equities. And then once that stress will be eventually out, then the gold will be heavily sold. I mean, it's not necessarily buying because the gold is going to the moon. It's just buying because selling the gold is interesting right here. It's just like that. I mean, I think we've got strong selling demand of gold in here. And for some reason, sometimes the market is just getting somewhere to be filling orders. I mean, if we have lots of selling orders pending in here, the market can just go there finding those orders. Okay? To me, it's really simple as that. It's liquidity seeking. The market is just doing this. It's seeking for liquidity, and it can do it to the upside, can do it to the downside. If for some reason we've got more demand on the upside, we'll go higher, just because we'll have to fill that demand. Okay. Now look at this. I mean, let's set things straight. What we've been doing in here is breaking a bullish trend. Okay, we can clearly see we've got bullish trend, breaking it down. Last time we've been doing this, we've been buying afterwards. Okay, so I might be wrong, and if we would have eventually made the C point already, and we will already be into the down move that will break all those supports. Possible, once again. I will take an invalidation if we break down that support. But not if we just break this one. I think breaking this one is not enough of a signal for me to invalidate. If we break those two in a row, I think, yes, indeed, in that case, there's nothing to buy. At least nothing without a signal, and that will be too dangerous to remain in that market, simply not knowing what's at play. But when I see bullish versus taking profit, generally the bullish cycle holds on. Okay, so we can fuck up this one just because of too many speculators around the dollar, and people thinking that everything will do well with U.S. indexes, and therefore they're not buying gold to cover. This is what Wall Street thinks. Wall Street thinks that dollar is the best refugee so far, and that there's no reason to buy gold or anything else. I mean, the yen has been just barely bought lately. It's just like we're feeling risk in the market and no one is taking cover. It's absolutely this right now. I mean, it's like there's no fear in Wall Street. And as I said, if that momentum is about to fail for some reasons in the next following days or weeks, this reversal is going to be brutal, and I think people will hardly get to seek for safe areas, gold included. So we'll see about that. Anyway, speculative scenarios, once again, I'm not the kind of guy who have a visionary things. I'm not Nostradamus at all. I'm not trying to do anything close to that. All I tell you is that I have speculative scenarios. I have validated scenarios in which I put leverage. For now, all those scenarios remain speculative, so I'd like to see the price confirming them or invalidating them. And if I'm wrong, I don't give a shit. Being wrong is part of the game. So if the dollar is fucking me up on the gold and the GBP/USD, I'll let it go and I buy lower prices. Okay, if it goes lower, it's better for me at some point. It gives me better prices, but the reward will also rise as well. I still think that gold somehow is going to go to the expected price targets. I just don't know where we're going to find the supports to get there. So bye guys, and see you whenever I can. Probably not certainty about tomorrow and the next week. Bye bye.